Hi everyone, sorry if the lighting is a little bit pants. It's raining in England yet again. So I'm here today with part 3 of books that have shaped my life, and for the previous 2 parts, which I will have linked in the cards and the description down below, I only held up 5 books for each sort of period of my life. This part, which is sort of childhood, slightly bigger books, is 10 books because I just really couldn't limit it down any more than that. So let's get on with it. I'm going to start off with one that I used to sort of devour over and over and over again, and I absolutely had to include, and that was My Naughty Little Sister by Dorothy Edwards. And I used to read this over and over and over. Look how creased that bit is there. This had so much love from me. It was about a young girl who ended up getting a little sister, and she was quite a naughty girl. But yeah, just looking at these pictures, I've just got so much nostalgia, like, oh. I dread to think how many times I probably read this book in total. I really wish I'd also tracked my reading as a child. I know I've said this in the previous parts, but I really, really wish I tracked my reading, and if I ever have any children, not sure, but if I do, I would definitely be tracking their reading. They won't even know it. Next is a chunkier one, and I'm not really sure necessarily the books in this pile what sort of order in terms of age I'd have read them. So this one's a little bit chunkier, but I just had to include it. And I know that I got this in year 6 at school because it has got a book plate, and that is A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. And this is such an adorable little story, and this is also a really adorable edition. How cute and little it is. Other than the fact that I don't own really any other books to put this next on my bookcase, so it looks a bit funny. But imagine having a whole series of these with cute little spines of all these Paragon Children's Library classics just on a row. That would be cute. And yeah, the writing is a lot smaller in this one, but again, it does have the illustrations just like the other book did, just to help break it up for my slightly younger reading. And yeah, so this one's chunky, over 350 pages. I know I definitely read it all. Don't think I ever read it all the way through many times though, because the back's not half as worn as the front. Like, that doesn't open that well, so I probably only read it all the way through maybe once or twice, but I definitely started reading it up to maybe the first 100 pages many, many, many times. Then we have a book which got a sort of honourable mention in the last part of this series, and that was because I'd got like a younger picture book version, but then as I got older I got a proper edition, and that is The Animals of Farthingwood by Colin Dan, and this is, as I said, a sort of more full proper novel edition. Again, quite small writing. I'm not sure exactly what age I'd have got this. And there we have an illustration of one of my favourites, Fox. And yeah, this is just such an adorable TV show that I would love to just rewatch over and over and over. I have rewatched it sometime in the last sort of 5 years or so. The books are equally fantastic. I read this over and over to the point where this spine is ruined. And that actually doesn't bother me in this case. Like, I'm just like, oh, it's a loved book. Looking at these children's books and looking at how worn the spines are, it's kind of making me think, why do I care about not damaging my spines now? Because these are signs of, in the case of the next book I'm about to show you, of really loved books. And this one indeed was a very loved book. This one's Enid Blyton's sort of short stories. So this one's The Flyway Broomstick and Other Stories. And indeed, The Flyway Broomstick was probably one of my favourite stories from this book. Well, this one's got much bigger writing compared to the previous 2, and bigger illustrations to sort of break it up more. And yeah, I loved this. This video would not be complete without me holding up some Enid Blyton, just in case I've not made my Enid Blyton point clear. Here we have another one, and this is 3 exciting stories in one: Adventures of the Wishing Chair, The Wishing Chair Again, and Stories for Bedtime. Now, I was going to hold up The Folk of the Faraway Tree, The Enchanted Wood, all those ones, that collection that I've shown in so many videos, because I do prefer that over this. But I think the wonderful thing about this book is that I did still really, really enjoy it, and I don't ever really talk about it, so I thought I'd give this one a chance. This one is about a flying chair. Look at those wings on it. It's just magical. There is some crossover with the Faraway Tree stories, so you do get a little bit of crossover with characters and locations with this one. And so, yeah, if you've ever read one and not the other, I highly recommend it, because it's just wonderful to actually be able to have the crossover of worlds there. Then we have two that I can sort of just hold up as a collection almost, really. So before I felt old enough to read the Babysitters books by Anne M. Martin, I discovered these, which were the Babysitters Little Sisters books. So these were just a little bit thinner, a little bit easier to access as a child. And these were about one of the babysitter's little sister called Karen. And the first one's just about a spelling bee, where she just does really well at spelling. And then we get into me trying to get into my sort of horror books from a young age with Karen's Ghost, and this is about a sort of haunted house. And I really enjoyed both these. Again, there are diagrams and illustrations and whatnot in these, and decent size writing, but I had to mention these because I adored these, and definitely, again, as with the others that I've mentioned in this video, reread them over and over and over. I can't believe how much rereading I used to do as a child. Here we have another absolutely battered book that I used to reread and reread and reread, and that is The Worst Witch by Jill Murphy. This got turned into a TV show, so some of you might actually be sort of aware of this one, because it is, again, an older one. Oh, there's a cute cat on the back. And the main character was called Mildred, and I really enjoyed these books. I only owned the first one, but I think I read the rest from the library, and I loved these so much. It's so yellow. And another equally very battered one. This one's falling apart, and this one's Mr. Magica and the Dinner Lady by Humphrey Carpenter. This is about a man who is a wizard and a teacher, and he sort of goes through all these various experiences through being a magician and yet also being a teacher. And there's loads of these books, absolutely loads. I only owned this one, but again, I read a lot of the others from the library as a child. And there's so many memories. This is kind of making me want to just reread all my children's books, which, not gonna lie, would definitely help me catch up on my reading goal for this year. There we have Mr. Magica with some of the children. And actually, I've managed to whiz through all these books quite quick because I was conscious of the size of them. So we're actually on the last book already, and that is Kitten in the Cold by Lucy Daniels. And this is the first book. I think it's the first book. Does it say anywhere whether it's the first book in this series? Yeah, no. Kitten in the Kitchen's the first book. What number is this then? 20 maybe? This is possibly number 20 in the Animal Arc series. And these stories focus on all sorts of different animals. What do we have? So the first one is Kittens in the Kitchen, Pony in the Porch, Puppies in the Pantry, Goat in the Garden. You get the idea. Like, each book focuses on a slightly different animal, and they're all really, really, really cute. And I actually really want to try and get my hands on more of these, because I don't think I ever read many of these ones as a child, actually. Unlike the others, I don't think I was really at the point where I wanted to bother sort of getting these from the library. I think I was at the point where I was trying to just discover older stuff by the time I got this one. So yeah, that is going to be all for this sort of age group. Next one, I'm thinking I'm going to move on for books. Some of these will have a bit of a crossover. I'm going to move on to sort of maybe ages 9, 10, 11, 12, that kind of area. That'll be my next focus, I think. And that one will probably be coming up in a few weeks. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know whether you ever read any of these books, whether it's also made you want to dig out your old children's books and reread them and get ahead on those Goodreads goals. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me to say if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me. And I will see you tomorrow with another video. Bye bye!